Hi guys, it's Ray here from City Fan TV. Very late stream on Sunday evening. It's almost 10:30 here in the UK, and I've just been on a very, very long live stream with Sonny. He's an Arsenal fan, and with a couple of other people there, Igal and Frank, and we've been talking, obviously, the game that's coming up on Wednesday. City versus Arsenal. Very, very good old bit of fun with those guys, and I'll probably put that up on the channel on sometime tomorrow. It's only just finished that live stream. Hi Brad, hope you're well, mate. So yeah, we've only just finished that live stream, so it's not going to be up till tomorrow now at some point. As I said yesterday, we've got a lot of stuff coming up. We've got I've got another live stream tomorrow night. I'm doing it on what's his name's channel, Dan Potts, talking about the game on Wednesday. So with Dan Potts, Arsenal fan, another Arsenal fan, and Lee Judges. So that's going to be interesting. And then obviously I've got Sonny on my channel on Tuesday night, and then on Wednesday we've obviously got the game. Thursday I've got more stuff doing. So there's an absolute shed load of stuff going on at the moment. Obviously people are starting to get excited now that the season's going to be back up and running. City will be the second game, and it's a bit late. I've got to be honest. It's a bit. What can you do? An 8:15 kickoff. The only good thing is that we're not allowed to go to the game, because that'd been it'd been a late finish. That you'd been home about 11:30. So that's the only. I wouldn't call it a respite, to be honest. But anyway, so that's what the week's got in store for us. And I think we've got Burnley at the weekend as well. So there's a lot of football coming our way this week. And if you're in that Fantasy Premier League competition, I can't remember how many people, 60-odd people in that, then that's going to be back up and running, obviously starting this week. Make sure you get some City players in there, because they're getting double points this week. Hi, Chris, you finished work? Oh, mate, look after yourself, mate. RSV, the new home kit will be announced on 30th of June. Is it what we've been told it's going to be? Brad, I was thinking, why don't City have a few people per block in the stadium? Perhaps people with disabilities, kids who suffer crowd noise. Hi, Peter. Hi, Kex. Well, to be honest, Brad, I don't think they can. I think it's a huge problem. It's a good idea, don't get me wrong, but I think it's a huge problem. They're taking so many precautions to get the season. I don't think they want to take any risks with fans, because then the fans, same as everybody else, I think just about has to be tested. I'm not sure if the journalists who are allowed there are going to be tested, and they have to be COVID negative. I don't know. I don't see how they can take the risk of getting, maybe a couple of hundred fans in there, make sure they're all tested. Then they've got the security for those fans. And there's a risk. There is a big risk. And I don't think they can afford any little thing to go wrong. Hey, Zidane, you saw me on. How was that? Peter Kelly, hope not the kit is the rumours they've seen must be designed. But yeah, I mean, sometimes you do wonder when you see some fabulous kits out there, fabulous kits, and I don't know why they don't keep tabs on social media to see what kits are out there and say, yeah, that's a wonderful kit. Let's approach the person who designed that kit. If there's no problems with copyright or anything of somebody else, or another team having that kit or whatever, let's pay that fella some money and use his design, or that girl some money. Let's use their design. I don't see why we can't do that. And there's some cracking kits out there. I just don't see why we don't do it. Strange times, Kex. Absolutely, mate. Lots going on. What can we talk about? Let's have a look. Would you take continuing at City? He's been a return. Nah. The thing is, I don't know. For me, he's got a good shot on him. He's got a good bit of skill. He certainly wasn't worth the money that Barcelona paid for him. And he's not really done anything in the last couple of seasons. For me, not enough. And I want someone younger. And I don't want that link with Liverpool, to be honest. What's Coutinho ever won? Throw that at him. What's he ever won? Not for me. Absolutely not for me. So what's going down? I mean, there's really not a lot to talk about. Let's be honest. There's Cole Palmer's in the MEN again today, but really it's not much more than was before. You know, he's been talking about his training with the first team, and I don't think he's apparently told a secret scout. Who's asked him about his what training is like under the first team under Pep Guardiola. I mean, Cole Palmer's an 18-year-old kid, midfielder. He said it's very good. You learn so much in a very short period of time, and especially from the players. It's crazy, so detailed. You know, it's interesting to see whether he can get a chance, because apparently MEN are claiming that his performances in training over the last few days has caught the eye of Guardiola and his backroom staff. Now, he's mainly played with the under-18s this season, scored, I think we talked about him the other day, he scored 15 goals and providing 5 assists in 14 league games. That's 20 goals and assists in 14 games. That's 1.5 a game. He's got 9 caps with England under 18, scoring 2 goals. So it's a good return from a midfielder to score 15 goals in 14 games. Could he start a game in the last 10 games of the season? Do I rate Gabby Jesus? Zidane? I think he's got better. I think one issue I've got with Gabby J is he'll play a game where he's unbelievable, scores a couple of cracking goals. Next game, you think he's got to be in, he's got to have a lot of confidence. He's in form, and then he has a stinker of a next game. He's just got to learn to, I think, put away the easy chances, make better decisions at the right time, score more goals. That'll come with confidence and experience. Arash Via Dadwal. Do I think would I take Aouar in? Do I think he's in Manchester? Well, the thing is, Arash Via, the French football season is over. Okay, that's done and dusted now. So there's not going to be any football in France till, by the signs of it, September. And that's what the decree was a while ago, that there'd be no professional sports till September. Now, that might change as the situation with the COVID-19 changes in France. So that might change. But so coming to City, it's not a distraction, because who's he going to be meeting at City? He'll meet, if this is going to go ahead, he'll be there with his agent. He'll meet Cheeky Begiristain. Okay, he'll meet Pep Guardiola. Pep having a 20-minute meeting with a kid, I don't think that's distracting from anything. Meeting with Cheeky, that's not distracting from the football. Cheeky's on the on the management side of things, on the boardroom side of things. So I don't think that has I don't think it's going to be a distraction to anybody. If he's at the ground watching the game, yes, that's going to be a distraction. But would they let him? I don't think they'd let him, because why would he be allowed to? Why would he be allowed to? And there's also issues with, if I remember correctly, and I don't know the full rules of the quarantine. Quarantine is going to be in place as well. So unless he's in England already, now, if he was on the private plane yesterday, you'd think he's in England already. So he's beaten the quarantine. Quarantine starts tomorrow, I think, if I'm right. Oh, no, quarantine's already started. So has he beaten the quarantine? This is a crazy situation. If quarantine's already started, how can he beat the quarantine? When he goes back to France, he will be quarantined for 14 days. So what's the point of him doing this? It just smells a bit fabricated. It doesn't smell right. So he's going to have to quarantine in the UK for 14 days, and he's going to have to quarantine him back in France for 14 days, because France have opened their borders with the EEA, or that's the European Economic Area. That's more than just the EU. It's a few other countries as well, like I think Norway in there, and a few others that are not in the EU. And except for Spain and the UK, everybody else can come and go, but Spain and the UK, they have to be quarantined, and it's reciprocal. So for the UK, if you're quarantined, UK say you're quarantined for 14 days, they're going to do the same the other way. So what did he win? Did he win the League Cup with you guys, Chris? I don't. Or the FA Cup? I can't remember. He could take the silver for a couple of years. I think I could take it for a few years if he comes. Absolutely, sorry. Selling Coutinho when it got you the money to buy other players. Yeah, Jan Couto, Zidane. I think I talked about him yesterday. Jan Couto won't be playing for City this season. He's not going to get a work permit. Same way as Douglas Luiz. He's not played for his country. He's not played at a high level, and he's not going to be integral to our team. I think those are three important things. That's why Douglas Luiz couldn't get a work permit at City, could get one at Villa, because he cost a lot of money, and it was 50 million quid. And Villa said he was basically an important part of their team going forwards. Hope Pep's new guy likes the youth more than Pep. Well, I want to see the kids play once, but I worry about Pep in that respect, because once the game's won, I want to see some kids play. Juanma Lillo as a new assistant manager. I talked about him the other day, a few days ago, Zidane. I like the idea that he knows Pep. I like the idea that he's 54, so maybe not as keen as Arteta to, I won't call it jumping ship, but take up another fabulous opportunity for Mikel Arteta. I think Juanma Lillo won't have as many good opportunities as Arteta, and is more likely to stay with Pep. Best available centre backs, honestly, don't know. Funny things, we don't know who's available. I don't think. Well, I don't think we'll break the bank for Koulibaly. We're still not going to pay 100 million. If Koulibaly was 60 million, I think there's a chance. 100 million, I don't think we're going to do that, especially with no fans in grounds. Our income is going to get hammered next season by 50 million quid. If we don't get in the Champions League, our income next year is hammered by about 140, 150 million quid. We ain't buying too many players if that's the situation. That's why I've said Arashvir. Houssem Aouar would have to self-isolate, because if I'm right, it started last week. So he'd have to self-isolate for 14 days. So how can he do anything? Unless he gets an exemption. I can't remember. Or, unless he's a migrant worker. No, I don't know how he gets an exemption, to be honest. There are lots of exemptions. If you're here for work, then you might get an exemption. You can't come on a holiday, but if you're coming for work, maybe he can get an exemption that way. But going back to France, I don't think he gets an exemption. But I've not looked at the French rules. I mean, it could be that I will be back in France in a few weeks, but then we'd have to self-isolate. That's going to be extremely difficult to self-isolate in France for 2 weeks. It's blooming expensive, I'll tell you that. Hi, Danny Toomey, hope you're well. All these new signings have to self-isolate, just in case. Absolutely, Chris. Thought it was stopped that because of the airlines. No, Peter, you can still come back and forth. I mean, Channel Tunnel, as far as I'm aware, is still open. Will this transfer to be mostly free loans? And it could well be, Chris, because look at City's point of view. If we're losing 50 million, some clubs are going to lose over 100 million on match day income. If there's no football next season, they're going to lose £100 million. How are you going to be able to even afford your current? You can't afford your current expenses, let alone buy new players. If we can get the lad who we sold to them back, that was Douglas Luiz. It's a possibility, Peter. I mean, I think we've got. It's actually could work against us. I think we've got a buyback or a selling clause with him. But the buyback clause will be more than 15 quid, I suspect. And the funny thing is, if Villa go down, they might have to sell him off for 10 million quid or less. But City can't get him. It's a really, because we've got a buyback clause. It's a crazy old situation. But we'll see. I mean, we might have to negotiate that with Villa if we want him. I saw an article where Pep could play 3 at the back in a game with Laporte, Stones, and Walker. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem. I'm not keen on it, because then who'd you play outside them? So if you've got Laporte left back, in effect, Stones in the middle, Walker on the left, who'd you play outside? Are you playing with 3 centre-backs or just 3 at the back? Do you play with Mendy outside him? Who'd you play out wide on the right? Cancelo? Then you're only left with 5 other players. Then do you play with a DM like let's say Fernandinho or Rodri? Then do you still play with 3 up front? Or do you play with 2 up front? Because you can say, well, you could put Mahrez as a wing back, let's say, as an argument, and then you play Sterling and Aguero up front. But then are you going to use Mendy as a left wing back? I'm not so sure, Arashvir. Fernandinho, funny things. Fernandinho. Still love Fernandinho. Will clubs get relegated with the resumption of league? Take action because they didn't have their fans. Well, it's going to be an interesting thing, Chris, because if you look at the Bundesliga, the home advantage has just disappeared. You know, I was this afternoon. There's a game going on. The Leverkusen game was going on, but before the Leverkusen game, there'd been 7 games. Only one team had won at home, and that was Bayern Munich. No one else had won. And I think the stats are probably roughly 50-50. So your home advantage has been absolutely hammered by not having fans there. And clubs are going to, you can see why they're piping crowd noise through speakers, but it's not, obviously it's not the same. It's not the same as having the fans there, egging them on, and getting how are you going to get the timing right? What if someone's 2 seconds late to press the button for the fan noise? It's always going to be, it's like an audio and a video clip, and the audio is always 1 or 2 seconds behind the video. Do I think the ban will be overturned? Well, we're going to get a result. They said the middle of July. So I suspect from between the 10th and the 15th of July. And then apparently I read somewhere that we might not get the detailed reasons behind it, the detailed explanations, until maybe in August. But I don't know. But I mean, CAS, the Court of Arbitration for Sport, said they're looking at middle of July to give the verdict. So it'll be very, very interesting. Guys, it's 11:15. I think that's enough for tonight. It's not been a long stream. And I haven't put it in the description box yet. But if you are interested, if you want to support the channel, we are now have a Patreon account set up. So, and if you do want to get involved with that, obviously it's up to you. You can feel free. I'm just going to look to see what my Patreon account is. If you want to come and support the channel, there will be some bits and pieces on Patreon, and you can have a look. I mean, I'll tell you a little bit about what I'm doing with Patreon. I mean, Patreon is basically a way to support creative, I wouldn't call it talent, but creative content. This YouTube channel has been going for more than a year, totally free to everybody. Nobody has to pay a penny. It's not even monetized on YouTube yet. I'll try and sort that out. But the Patreon system, and basically I've got 3 tiers. If you're interested, you don't have to pay anything to get most of the content on this channel. Anyway, it's going to be all there. I think the thing is going to be when you are going to get the content. So, I'm going to have 3 tiers. I think from what I remember, you got tier 1. It's going to be a couple of quid a month, and you'll get, obviously you got all the free content, and then you'll get a little bit of extra content as well. When I have extra content, so there'll be extra. I Blackpool Blu-ray, no worries, mate. So I'm finishing off just talking about the Patreon. If you want to get involved and support the channel, because we don't get any money from this channel. The work Cole does behind the scenes with all the IT stuff and the stuff I do. Yeah, so basically tier 1 is I think £2 a month, and you will get with that, it's mainly just to help support the channel, but you will get we'll hopefully get some, improve our quality of content and stuff like that. You will also get, if I remember correctly, special videos. They'll be out early for Patreon holders. I think the next level is, I think the tier 2 is £3 a month, and I think with that I'm going to start doing podcasts hopefully from next season, and you'll get, I think I'm going to try and do 2 podcasts a month at least, and you'll get 2 podcasts early. Basically you'll get early access to them, and there'll be other bits and pieces as well. And then there's the VIP Patreon, which I'm not expecting anyone to take, but that's £20 a month, and for that you will get free prize draws. You will get everything else that everybody else gets, and then I think what I'm going to do, and I'm also doing some videos as well. So Patreon holders can suggest videos, and I think I said I'll try and do 2 videos a month that Patreon holders, supporters actually help. To help to decide what I'm going to talk about, and for the VIPs, I think I'll get people on the streams, more live. So if people want to come on live, they can come on the Patreon system. So we'll see how that goes. It's just something, I've talked about for months. I've not ever done it, but it's up there now. If anybody wants to, come and support me. Everything is. I'm always very appreciative for your support, whether it's in monetary terms or whether it's actually just coming on and helping contribute to streams. But yeah, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, hit that bell icon so you're notified as soon as new videos come out. And I think you have to hit hit notifications on YouTube as well. So you as soon as a new video comes out, you know it's out there. Especially if it's live, it's nice to come on and do the live ones. If you like the video, give us a thumbs up. And all of you, take care. Have a good week. And until tomorrow, see you around, Blues.